It's another 2-set match. Races to 7, 40 minutes on the set clock, and Jack Whelan, who has just come off his semi-final victory over Jordan Shepherd, gets us underway with the opening break. Joining me on commentary for this final is Jimmy Croxton, one of the Ultimate Pool professionals, and we heard from Gareth in the studio there. How do you see this one playing out, Jimmy?
Well, both players have been on great form. Both have been breaking unbelievably well. That's going to obviously play a huge factor. I know that we keep saying it, people are probably sick of hearing it, on the break's so big, but the way that these two have been hitting it off the break, I think there's going to be a lot of first visit pool in this final. Promises to be a real good one. I don't know really. I'm a bit lost for words because both of them just seem to be getting finish after finish after finish. It's just constant barrage of world-class pool. So I think for anyone that's watching this live now, this could be one of the best, if not the best, finals that we've ever seen, based on some of the pool we've seen played over the last few days.
Do you think it's going to play any part in the fact that Jack Whelan has to sort of put that match he's just had out of his mind and go again? He's got to keep going, whereas Shaun's had plenty of time to think about it and think about what's ahead.
Yeah, that obviously can play a part. I mean, I don't think it plays so much of a part at this level. I do think that you could look at it the other way, and you could look at it as that Jack is, hot and ready to go. He's still firing, whereas Shaun's had a couple of hours to sort of cool off, and it's almost like he's, starting again, kind of thing. So there's two ways to look at it. I don't think it'll play a great deal of difference, right now.
Has he come back far enough? It looked like he just quit on that shot, but
from the overhead, I'd say no. From where he's standing, I'd say yes. It's so deceiving, I feel.
Yeah, the overhead, it looks like there's no chance. Yeah, and there isn't.
That's a poor shot, really. He had a big space to land in. That is very, very poor. And
talked about it earlier on, the first set in these matches is so huge. The percentage of players that go on to win the matches when they win the first set is incredibly high.
Yeah, and as you say, it takes a little bit of the pressure off because you know that you're going to get another chance. With that 6-red shootout, you're going to have your opportunity. Whereas if it was just pure set play, we've said it a few times this weekend. Different conversations I've had with some of the players and some of the fans, where you can play all the pool and lose because you could have 6 tough finishes, take them all out, play really, really well, play faultless pool, but they've been tough, and your opponent can literally break off like God and have 7 easy finishes, not really had to do a great deal, and you've lost your match, and you've done. And we've seen it a couple of times already this tournament. So at least, when you win that first set, you know that you're going to get an opportunity to win the match. You've got, in essence, you're 25 seconds away from winning the match.
Yeah, absolutely. So with all that in mind, so much pressure out there on the first set, the first race to 7.
What is nice to see is I know that all the Jack's family has turned up for the semi-final and the final, and I think is it Shaun's dad that's with him? I think.
Yeah, Shaun's dad's with him.
So that's the first time I've seen his dad, but it's so nice to see, and I think it just goes to show you what kind of occasion this really is, because it's other tournaments and previous tours before Ultimate, we never really saw much of that. Did it really mean enough, or what? These guys between them have won some big events over the years, but you can't help but feel that every event here with Ultimate Pool is like winning a world title.
Yeah, it feels very, very special. Everybody that seems to have won one has talked about how much it meant, and we're talking about guys that have won world titles. Jack was on record as saying the Pro Series title he won earlier this year was bigger than the world title he won. And he gets the first frame of this match on the board. Shaun Storry had the first opportunity, did not do enough with it. A pretty poor error by Shaun Storry's high standards. He hits this as hard as anybody for the cup break. Second ball down on the left as we look is his target, as full as he possibly can. And he gets that 8-ball in motion a lot. Gareth Potts said in the studio that he does it to try and get the 8-ball in motion, which he absolutely does. Gives him a higher percentage of chance of making a golden break. But I've spoken to Shaun about it today, and Shaun's also saying he just feels on this table he's struggling to break with as much consistency from the front ball, and he actually thinks for him anyway that the cup break is the way, even if golden breaks weren't in play.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to fix anything that's not broken, and he's broke really well. He's had 3 or 4 golden breaks over the course of this tournament and come close at numerous times. So if it's working for him, then why not?
Well, a little bit of luck there for Jack Whelan. Held up his hand. That is not how he wanted to play that shot.
You say a little bit of luck, but he snookered himself on the.
You heard him just say he didn't know. He doesn't even know what went in. He hit that all wrong. So he may not have a pot onto the right centre, but he's fortunate enough that he made a ball. All he can do is just turn the table over.
Well, these are very messy at the top of the table. And if the 8-ball wasn't where it was, you'd actually have an opportunity here to play the yellow into the middle pocket, the yellow just below the bulk line as we look at the table, into the middle pocket because it's a big bag, and he actually has the perfect angle to bounce off the side rail and into that little cluster. But I think it's a dead set plant to knock the 8-ball in, so he can't play that shot.
It's going to be very tough for Shaun to do anything about that ball at the top. Well, we're not going to get that far. Misses the first ball. Slightly scratchy start then for Shaun Storry, even though that wasn't a good chance to win the frame. Missed a couple of pots early here. Well, a positional error and a missed pot, I should say. Slightly easier for Jack Whelan to deal with the reds at the top. Still not really easy. He's got the red nearby that does go. He's not on the next ball now anyway, unless the red does go to the top right, when he's near now.
I think it might just squeeze past. Well, I mean, Shaun's now got a little bit of angle to go into this cluster. Off the yellow that I mentioned earlier by the bulk line. And now that he's put the red there, over that pocket, it's not a dead set plant to knock the 8-ball in, so off an opportunity for Shaun. He's not taking it, but
well, this is going to be a very interesting frame from here, it really is.
it's always good, I feel, Simon, to have these kind of frames, because how many times have we sat here and just watched balls go in and in and in, and it's just finished after, which is great to watch.
But these are worth the same as a break clearance.
Yeah.
Sometimes can be worth more mentally. It's such a massive frame, really. It's early in the opening set here. Neither player are going to want to give an inch right now. I do think, in a strange way, Shaun probably, he doesn't have a tactical advantage in my mind. I think Jack's tactical knowledge is fantastic, but I do think that Shaun, I don't know how to articulate it particularly well, but I think if we have frames like this, I think he'll be the happier of the two.
Yeah.
I think he's been more prepared to go and mix it in this sort of frame, whereas Jack just wants it to be wide open, and he talked as much in the studio. He said he wants a wide open game. To be honest, if I broke like Jack Whelan, I'd want a wide open game as well. His break is so dangerous.
Yeah, when it's on, it's frighteningly good. I mean, he's always hit them well. It's where that white ball goes, and certainly today when I've watched him, it's just centre of the table every time, which is giving himself the best possible opportunities, isn't it?
Shaun's got to be careful here. The 8-ball may have gone and sat on top of that red, but that naturally makes it easier for Jack to open everything up there. There's half a chance for Jack if he gets an opening pot of this table.
That's a nice pot from Shaun, because it was missable, certainly from when he was queuing.
Well, he's come round to have a look. That yellow, does it go off the red into the top right corner? In which case, actually, Shaun could have an opportunity to go here. If it does, he could play it firm enough. It's not easy to get the 8-ball out, if you like, or the red out to make the 8-ball go, but if it does slide in there, it's an opportunity. Either that, or it's a really easy snooker here. We'll know after this shot. Oh, he fancies this.
Committed now, Simon, so I think it does go.
Well, I just wonder, the other option I was just trying to think it through, is if he could have played the one to the top left, come across and played the combination shot, whether there was a way of then staying on the yellow to the opposite corner. The reds are blocking it, but there is a gap there. It would have been a very delicate shot required to make that one work. Not much room for manoeuvre. Well, he's gone up for it, so he must feel this slides in off the red.
Lovely shot, always an off.
Oh, he's getting on here. He got a shot right, but was straight in off, lacked the control on the cue ball. Because look at where the 8-ball's come as well. The 8-ball has pinged out. This really was an excellent shot on one end, but terrible on the other. Huge disappointment for Shaun Storry.
Not the best shot Jack's ever played.
Used up quite a lot of minutes in this opening set for the opening frame and a half here. We're 14 minutes in already. I think we all felt that this was going to be quite a big, wide open game. You even said it straight away. You thought there'd be lots of finishes from the break here. And the opening two frames have not played out that way at the moment.
Fancy him for this. No. Well, I think Jack will feel that he's probably got away with one a little bit there, because he played a poor shot, poor cannon. And and was forced to play the snooker, but it was more than gettable there from Shaun. He just didn't really seem to commit himself to the shot very much. And these are a formality. This will be 2-0 to Jack Whelan.
Yeah, there'll be an element of relief from Jack when he played that snooker. He kind of knew that he was going to be leaving some sort of option on for Shaun Storry. Right. Got away with it. And that will make it 2-0.
Yeah, you know, we all say it, and it's, I suppose, a lot easier for us to say it sat here in the comms box, but you've got to control the controllables. Shaun can't do nothing when Jack's at the table. He can't do nothing about that. He's got to make the most of his own chances, and he could have won them 2 opening frames, so you know, he'll know that. He's just got to eradicate them errors, because you keep making them against a player of Jack's calibre, and it's curtains, I'm afraid.
Tricky layout here for Jack. He was a little bit lucky that the cue ball stayed on the table, as in it nearly went top right, nearly went top left. In the end it stayed on, but not a great chance for him.
Extension call.
Oh, he tells us exactly what he's thinking there. He manages to open up the corner pocket, and then the secondary nudge knocks the yellow onto the red, and it doesn't go. And now that's so far away from the rest of his work, nothing else on. He's pretty much no choice but to play safe here.
Yeah, and
not a lot he could do with that at all. Still a terrible layout though for Shaun.
yeah, this is going to be the 3rd frame on the trot where they're not. Oh, I think it rocked back a little bit there, Sam, by the looks of it.
Yeah, that's the frustration.
Is he playing the double here, off the yellow into the middle? It's close.
Yeah, a lot of people might be looking at that thinking, oh, well, what about just the loss of turn there? But looked like he was guaranteed to leave one in the left centre or right corner, and wasn't going to gain an advantage from the loss of turn on that occasion. So went ultra aggressive, and it's not worked out too badly for him. He knows that there are yellows at the top of the table still awkward, and that's made them more awkward.
I think you'll find Shaun probably playing another turnover shot here, just playing the plant, set plant yellow onto red and just topping the cue ball through.
Yep, plays the turnover shot you called, Jimmy. Slowly but surely, Shaun Storry is edging further and further in front in this frame. Jack's got that one over the pocket, and I was thinking, well, all Shaun's going to do is play another loss of turn. Not as easy to do. If it stops a few rolls shorter where it has, it would have been very, very simple. But still able to do it. Okay, just had to raise the butt of the cue, screw it back, and that adds even more to Shaun's advantage.
I think the red does go bottom right, past the 8 ball. So there is a shot on. It's as tough as it might be. Tell you what, it wasn't a million miles away from where he was either.
Yeah, what was he going to do though with the other one? I don't think he was even trying to pot it, you know, because he would have left absolutely nothing. But then what else was he trying to do with it?
I think the only shot he would have had if he'd have potted that was come behind it and try to maybe do something and oh. He was getting towards the middle pocket, but
so it looks like Shaun will have to play a small cannon here. He's going to go in off as he pulls up, just about pulls up. Dangerously close for Shaun Storry though. Just get that sense at the moment with Shaun. He's not fully settled out there. You know, we talk about that all the time, that you don't settle till you win that frame or make that clearance, but it just feels like he hasn't settled. Little bit on edge, can't quite get the cue ball, and it's another missed pot, and he's given Jack Whelan another opportunity here.
his only saving grace there. He's left the cue ball above the yellow, which makes it very difficult for Jack to get the desired screw back to get onto his last red here on the rail. He's got to hit this as square as he can and screw across the face of the first yellow and in between the gap of the second yellow and the 8 ball, unless he's just going to roll this in and take his medicine, which is what he's done. Some shot coming up this will be, but if anyone's going to cue this in, it's Jack Whelan.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take what you've got, and the shot you were talking about was probably higher tariff than the shot he's got now. That was as far away as you could imagine Jack Whelan being from that shot. Really, really awkward that. You really do feel that Shaun has to get this frame on the board. He doesn't have a good pot on now, but he has to find a way of putting this safe and then getting the frame on the board. Jack has missed multiple opportunities in it. Worth pointing out, when I say multiple opportunities, it's not as though he had a good opportunity to win the frame. He's had multiple visits and not been able to do anything with it. He's been behind the whole frame. Bit of hit and hope, or is there going to be some control on this one?
I think he'll try and control it down the rail.
Yeah. Well, he has as well. It's not the worst effort we've ever seen, but that should be that for this opening frame now. Or I say opening frame, it would be Shaun's opening frame. Better bit of queuing for Shaun Storry this time. a simple 8-ball that will make Shaun Storry feel an awful lot better. No mistakes. He is on the board. 2 frames to 1 he trails. And if you'd told Shaun Storry that he'd be 25 minutes into this match before he won his first frame, he would be overjoyed if you told him he'd only be 1 frame behind. Also left a messy layout. 8-ball is in motion. It's still in motion. Not going to get towards that top pocket. But this is come out awkward again. This could be another drawn out frame. This is definitely not the set of ball we are expecting to see here. We've just seen Jack Whelan and Jordan Shepherd put together lots of finishes off the break, a wide open game, and here we are. This is going to be another tactical affair.
Which from our point of view, Simon, is not too bad, but I'm sure some of the viewers who aren't sort of necessarily pool players, you know, will want to see pop, 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 pop. But this, for us, I think sometimes this is exciting for us to see because we don't know what's going to happen next. And obviously we can appreciate that tactical side of the match. But what I would say is for any sort of young pool players out there or upcoming pool players, these are the kind of frames you want to be watching. You know, what to do, the shots to play. You know, this is the kind of thing that you know, I've said it before, where you're only as good as your B game. And this is very much sort of nip and tuck, so these are the frames that you've got to win. These are so important, even more so than your break finishes, because there's millions of players in the world, literally millions of players that can break and finish.
Yeah, that's a valid point. You have to grind these frames out at times, give them the respect they deserve. That's not the worst start to the frame for Jack Whelan. In truth, it would have been easy to come to the table, look at this and think, well, the only bad yellow on the table is the 8-ball, but it was going to be very, very tough to solve. He's taken reds, and the one safety shot on reds, or it's not a safety shot, but the one opening up shot on reds means that the reds actually aren't too bad now at all. There's only one that doesn't go, and it's easy to open up.
Yeah, it's not the best of shots from Shaun there. He's put another one of his balls safe, and he's left Jack a straight pot now, although not you know, a really simple shot. You'd certainly expect Jack to pot this, but he hasn't. He'd be disappointed with that, because that was a good opportunity to win that frame.
That is the one thing that can happen when you're in rhythm and making lots of finishes, and then it does go like this. Sometimes those sort of pots, all of a sudden, they look trickier than they do if you're in full flow. How is Shaun going to deal with that 8-ball? All the other yellows, no problem at all. And that 8-ball, not nice.
If we carry on this vein, Simon, this is going to be the shortest match in terms of frames completed in a set in the whole tournament, I believe.
Yeah, by some distance if it continues the way this is going. It's quite amazing, really. The problem is for Shaun, if he plays into the 8-ball, of course there's a risk of the 8-ball going in. A small risk, but there is a risk. But the cue ball's going to be in amongst those reds at the top, and he's not likely to be on anything nicely there. It's not easy to get onto the one on the top, to the top right, through the reds. And that is very good. He'd have taken that. He could not have hoped for it to come out too much better. The 8-ball now goes. He's also on the yellow at the top of the table. And actually now he can plot a route. Okay, he's never going to get right behind the 8-ball, but he doesn't have to. It's only a little thin clip in. having a look. There's not a huge amount of room to be on it as nicely as you can be. The closer you get to the right-hand side, as in the red's coming into play and blocking you, the easier the pot becomes. Of course, runs the risk of snookering yourself, so has to be careful.
Didn't really want to be straight here. I mean, he's okay. But ideally, he would have liked to land below this last yellow into the left middle and just tracked the cue ball a little bit closer to the 8 ball. He's not going to be able to do that now.
Being that close to the cushion actually makes it really awkward. Forces it out off the cushion as much as he could. Just at least gives him the ability to manoeuvre the cue ball a fraction.
"15-second shot clock now in play. 3 frames on the board."
Incredible. And he didn't get that one back as far as he probably wanted to, because the risk of going too far was too high. So it's now very, very thin here. He'll also have some equity in the frame, even if it sits right over the pocket, but he doesn't want that. He wants to make it. Yeah, in it goes. Excellent from Shaun Storry. Had to work very, very hard to dig that one out. And Jack Whelan is dry, and another messy layout. This really is incredible.
Everything's just shifted over to the left-hand side of the table pretty much as we look from the back end of things, and it's these
it is amazing, isn't it? I mean, right smile on Jack's face, and I get it. He said it in the studio. He'd love to see a wide open attacking game. A right smile on Shaun's face as well. Watch that match clock. It is going to fly away on them now. The winner of this frame could end up being in a massive advantage, because there won't be much time left after this frame. We might not even see this frame finish. That's how awkward this has come out.
I think we've given it the commentator's curse, saying that it's going to be electric, and it has been electric, but it's electric in a very different way.
Yeah, I asked you what you were expecting to see, and the first thing you said was lots of finishes from the break. Well,
yeah.
we're 32 minutes in, and we've seen 4 frames of pool. Not one of them's been off the... It's been very, very tough for either player to get any rhythm at all.
I'll be having fans saying, "What's this commentator on about?"
Don't worry, you've got commentators saying that as well.
Well, yeah, I think a finish from here would be almost as spectacular as those socks you've got on there, Simon. They are. I like them. They're good.
Oh, no cameras in the commentary box, I'm afraid.
That can be arranged. Can we get a cameraman in the commentary box, please?
Neither player willing to risk anything, and there's some match clock management required as well, because what needs to happen here is one of them is going to want to get into the situation where they have a go, even if it's a 5% chance, a 2% chance of a finish. They're going to want to have a go and leave no time left on the clock, because it's almost then it becomes a free go at a clearance. But it's very hard to manipulate that and make it happen. This is the most bizarre frame of pool I've seen in 2 years of Ultimate Pool. It really is.
This is a frame for the old, all the old EPA players. You know, the old rules. They'll be loving this.
Yeah, they're like a nice little hour. Work it out.
I think I reffed a game in an old Monday Night Pool League once, and it was an hour and 45 minutes. And it was like, yeah, it was. We could see that here, although we haven't got. Luckily, we haven't got the hour and 45. But
the good news is this frame can only last 8 minutes. That's all it can last. There's only 6 minutes 16 left. To put it into context, because there's obviously no future in this frame whatsoever, we've only seen, I think, in 2 seasons of Ultimate Pool, I think we've only seen 1 or 2 frames go past the 10-minute mark. And that shows you how unusual a frame like this can be. I think we could well see this one finish 2-2, or will one of them try and work it out, try and edge an advantage to at least have a dip at the end.
Well, yeah, I was going to say there's certainly no need at the moment. I mean, you've got to wait till the very end, where you know that even if you miss an opportunity or a very slim opportunity, your opponent hasn't got enough time to come back and counter clear. But I think you'll definitely see one of them have a go at something, because
I just feel that I know that's 5.5 minutes away, or 5 minutes away from potentially doing it. I just think you almost have to start working towards it now, otherwise you're not going to. It's not going to be a 5% chance for a finish or 2%. It's going to be a 0.2% chance for finish. Well, especially I tell you what, now that 8-ball's gone close, that there'll be no risking of flying into the pack or anything like that, because you do not want to risk that 8-ball going in and costing yourself the set. I think there's a very real possibility with that 8-ball getting close. We are now destined for 2-2, and let's move on to the second set.
one good thing this frame can do for you, though, Simon, and this might sound bizarre, is this could do your touch the world of good. You know, them little pressure shots where you've got to dink one, or you know, like Jack at the moment is finding the top rail every time. Yeah, so in terms of cue ball pace and cue ball control, it's actually giving him that chance to practice that. As bizarre as that may sound.
It also means was talking in the studio ahead of tonight's action, saying that, you know, the first set in these 2-set matches is absolutely huge. I think we've had 39 matches now in 2-set matches with Ultimate Pool, and the player that has won the first set has won the match in all but 3 occasions, and that is now out the window because neither player is going to win this opening set. It's going to end up in a draw. Three minutes 40 left. Starting to get to the point where a player may start to think about it. About 2 minutes, I would say, is the time to think about that low percentage finish. But in that low percentage finish, you almost need some open pots to get going. At the moment, maybe Reds have a 0.5% chance of something in a few visits' time. And that might disappear in a second if that ties up at the top. There really is nothing either player has been able to do from the start of this frame to try and do anything.
Well, does that red go to the middle?
Has Shaun decided this is the time? Scott Price watches on.
Well.
Oh, he thought it did. So Shaun was trying to pot that. That is the first attempt of the pot in the frame, and we're 6 minutes in. Now, does Jack Whelan want to do it? 2 minutes left. This is the time to do it if he wants to try it. A very, very low percentage finish on Reds, and he doesn't want any part to play in it. He has no interest in that. He is accepting the draw here. I don't think Shaun has just yet. I think he still thinks maybe.
Well, what an extraordinary frame of pool. Yeah, it's a good shot.
Yeah, and that's not colour sets assigned just yet. That is just a loss of turn shot. You have to pot the colour you're going for there. So he was playing yellows to pot the red on purpose.
I tell you what could have happened there. If you got the snooker behind the 8-ball, you might give himself half a chance.
Okay, now colours are assigned. Shaun Storry is going to have a very low percentage dip at this. 2 balls at the top of the table that do not go anywhere. Not sure how he's even going to think about it. Maybe try and get behind it somehow.
Double off the red. Wow.
But you can see with only 50 seconds left.
This is risky though still, because he could open up all the yellows here. It's still enough time.
Oh, it's a great effort, but it's half done. He might do it again. He might do it again. He might swing the cue ball up there, but yeah. Oh, is that a plant? He was played for the plant. It's awkward.
He's going to try and do something.
Oh, red's got in. Where's the cue ball? Wow, he's going to have a double for the set. 15 seconds left. This would be incredible.
He's got it.
And he's got it. Can he cut the 8 ball in? Oh, incredible. Oh. Incredible, Shaun Storry. You know he was waiting for that. He waited 7 minutes to have an opportunity to take out an incredibly low percentage finish, one that included a bit of a hit and hope fluke. He was a little bit worried about it, but not the set of pool we thought we'd see, Jimmy, but this next 40 minutes might be the set that we were thinking we would get to see. It will all come down to how the balls open up, and straight away it's a golden break. Straight away we have a frame on the board.
I've still got my head in my hands. We've gone from what we've just seen there to that almost finish to then Shaun Storry getting a golden break. Sorry, it was 6 seconds. Apologies.
Oh, huge break from Jack Whelan. It won't go down as a golden break, but it's going to be an opportunity for him. Although we've talked so much about the quality of chances that Jack Whelan has given himself off his break, it is fair to say the quality of chances hasn't materialised in the final, because this is another awkward one.
Being over analytical there with the break, you look at Jack's break there, and the cue ball was tracking towards the corner pocket. Generally throughout this tournament, the cue ball's been tracking right up the middle of the table, and he's been giving himself chance after chance after chance. So if his break's not quite as ruthless as it has been, it could sort of explain why he's not getting those clear-cut chances that he has been in other matches. But that's a clever shot.
So it turns the table over to Shaun. There was no finish on there. And it's more of the same. It is really worth pointing out the fact that throughout this tournament, Jack Whelan's break has been incredible. Huge, with massive chances. Ones that, in his own words, he would say, those sort of chances where you should get. It's about holding your nerve and just, not even holding your nerve, just minding your work and, making sure you land right sides of balls and things like that. He said as much in the studio, but he's now had a run here. The chances he's getting, not necessarily just off his break, but the chances that his break is generating in this final is really awkward layouts for both.
Yeah, that's right. I think he may have a chance here to pop the top yellow as we look on the right hand side and come. No, he's not taking it on. Is there an element of Jack that's maybe being a little bit overcautious because of what's just happened, possibly?
Well, I was surprised, and I think Shaun was as well in the brief word I had with him, that Jack didn't want any part in having a low percentage go at the end there, because he had his opportunity to maybe do to Shaun what Shaun nearly did to him, and he just said no. He just wasn't. He was like, okay, let's just get a draw and move on to the next set. So, maybe it's a little bit of fall over from that set, but I will also say for Jack, maybe it's a case of chase a bad finish or get the frame moving and let's get on with the next one. You know, this is not. I said it earlier on. I don't think that Shaun has a tactical advantage over Jack. I just think Shaun's more prepared to do this than Jack is.
Yeah.
Is there a double in the middle of that bunch of yellows that he can pull out to try and open it up, or is it just a case of playing another safety?
I think he was looking at chopping that one into the middle because it's a big pocket off the red ball, and obviously he plays it a little bit of pace and brings his bad yellows out. I think that's what he was looking at. He's had to rush a shot there because he hasn't got an extension. So not ideal there for Jack really, because Shaun can just play a pretty simple turnover shot here and put Jack in trouble.
Does play the turnover shot, does leave him the yellow off the red in the centre, but not with an angle to open up the other two yellows. So not an absolute disaster for Shaun at all. Unless he can play the plant and do it.
Well, the beauty about playing the plant here is, of course, is that he's going to leave no shot if it does go. Yeah, it's a nice shot.
Yeah,
it's a
in the
really
end,
nice shot.
In the end, there was no attempt to make it. I think the wry smile is that he nearly did make it, and he wasn't trying to make the plant off the red. He was just trying to get the yellow down over the pocket.
I think this goes. I think it's a plant here.
I don't think you can hit that hard enough. Yellow, if it goes past the first one, off the red into the middle though, that is on. Oh, got it. Too much of the yellow. That's not the worst result though. Shaun may have to go here and find an angle to get into that cluster of three.
Yeah, I think if he can either play it now, the little trace of right hand side, just to straighten the cue ball up and go straight into them.
Oh, missed the pot, got the cannon.
I think he might have been a little bit fortunate here, you know. If he's left the cue ball touching the red, he may have covered both pots. I think he has, you know. Yeah, Jack's going to come up and down. Big target, though.
Yeah, good shot.
Nice shot, just awkward cueing now for the one into the middle. It's not easy when you're under the rail. You'd fancy him getting it, but he's got to play it slow as well, so he's relying on, you know, hitting no finger marks or nothing like that here. Yeah, nice shot. Played that well. A tap of the knee there from Shaun. He knows that was a more difficult shot than it looked, certainly under the pressure.
It's felt like a very long time since Jack Whelan has won a frame of pool.
It's like the Rafael Nadal pool breaks, isn't it? You know, very much a process to it.
And perhaps for the first time in the match, a very inviting split to go at first visit.
Extension call.
I was going to call for his extension, but this looks fairly wide open. All the yellows have a pocket, all the reds have a pocket.
If he drops the first yellow in here that he's taking and just glances the red out of the way of the 8-ball. It's not ideal. It's not what he wanted to be.
He would have rather got the fuller contact on the red so he could stay on the yellow to the bottom left, and it would have opened up the 8-ball a lot more from the top end of the table. Well, bottom end of the table, I mean.
Pot.
Just needs to get the cue ball up to the middle of the table here. Pointing his cue at where he wants to be and having a look to see how far he can go before he gets himself into trouble. Looks to be pretty good. A little bit short of where he was looking at. I think he was looking if he goes an extra couple of rolls he could just drop it in. 8-ball then goes top right, but now he has to go on and off the cushion, so potentially 8-ball same pocket as the yellow. No, he was able just to kill it in, and he has the 8-ball to the top right.
That's another one of our professional referees, Andrew Sheldon, in the crowd. So you've just got to keep on with it. I mean, that's perfect. That's remarkable if he doesn't pot anything off that break. Wow.
And it's a decent enough layout. It's not a perfect layout, but it's not bad either. It's certainly the best one off his break in the entire match. Just a shame for him that he will not be the one to get to have a go at it. It's going to be Shaun Storry. Because of the red to the bottom left and the red to the top left, you feel it has to be yellows. There is one yellow at the top that doesn't have a pocket at the moment. And that was the ball that didn't have a pocket. It does now. Easiest ball to pot from where he is the one near the 8-ball, but the cue ball's going into the 8-ball.
And he's slightly bridging as well. It's not ideal where he's landed there. It's awkward. I think he's taking the one long on the right.
Just didn't pot that particularly clean. Hasn't got on the yellow to the bottom left, and yeah, the next one's awkward as well. Can he just see enough of it? He's come back to have another good look. It doesn't look like it's close. No, it's going away from it. That was a big pocket, helped the pot. Just going to have to thread the needle through the reds, but might just be able to stay in the clean window he's got. Yeah, done that well. Oh, I'll take that back. It slid behind the red. He's still okay though. Can go into the right centre with awkward queuing. It just means the one to the bottom left has to become his last ball. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. He should just be able to bring it back out for the 8 ball. He's had a number of very close looks at that yellow, so it looks like it flies in, and I'm sure it does, but maybe he's a little bit worried about it. We saw just on that previous angle that it is touching the red, so he's having another very good look. I think he's just a little bit worried about catching the red and it hitting the jaw and staying up.
Oh, wow.
Did not see that coming. I'm so surprised he's not just tried to bring it back. It's not as though he had to really overhit it, just bring it back a fraction. I guess he's just really worried about that ball not going in off the red. And
Yeah.
so he just wanted to drop it in as dead weight as possible, but oh, big error that one from Shaun Storry. It really was.
Just hope that Jack's not put his back out, because I've never seen him jump out of his chair so quick. That was just, well, he'll be absolutely delighted to be back at the table here, and that's the kind of thing that can change a whole match.
I mean, he looked at that shot multiple times through the whole visit. He kept coming back and kept looking at it, so it was more awkward than it ever, must have been more awkward than it ever looked on our camera, but still a very surprising error. I suspect Jack Whelan had already written the frame off and was kind of mentally preparing himself for the next frame, next opportunity.
It's also not the best shot from Jack, really. I mean, it's okay to just, you know, drop it in, but, you know, ideally you want to be right by the 8 ball here and just trickling it in the pocket. I mean, it, you know, okay, he's 3 foot away from the 8 ball, and you could get a kick or anything here. I mean, I'm not trying to curse him, but
good break from Shaun, and a pretty decent layout, whichever way he wants to go. Certainly be attacking.
Yellow balls in play.
So yellow on the left-hand side is the most awkward ball on the table. It looks like he's going to attack it here.
yeah, he's just going to glance off the face of it and bring the white up and down off the back rail. Should be okay, yeah. Oh, he's missed it completely and missed the pot. Well,
Another strange one.
got away with it though, I think, a little bit there. I think he's just, Jack knows it as well. The expression on his face tells it all. It's actually turned out to be a great safety shot, to be honest.
Worked out okay for him. That was a very strange shot once again from Shaun. It's been the strangest match so far, because we're almost halfway through the second set and it's only 2-2. We've had 8 completed frames in this match in 60 minutes of pool, which is just very unheard of in the ultimate pool world. And Jack is trying to tie that yellow up, hasn't quite managed to do so. So Shaun's going to get another opportunity in this frame. Jack knew he was leaving yellows on, so it was all about tying up the yellow at the top of the table, and he hasn't managed to do so. So it's the same ball that Shaun had at the start. That's the awkward one on the table, the one nearest the break line. It's not that awkward, and he's got the one over the left centre to connect to it. 8-ball could be awkward to get onto as well.
There may be an opportunity here for him to play the yellow into the right middle and screw across the face of the 8-ball and leave himself the awkward yellow in the top right-hand pocket. A little bit like that, but I don't think he's quite where he wanted to be.
Yeah, I think he was trying to open up the 8-ball rather than play your shot. It wasn't a misjudgment of that level. He was always planning to use the one over the left centre to connect to the other awkward one, and he could do that now, but he's leaving a rogue ball at the bottom end of the table.
Yeah, big space to come into though. Yeah, you play this with a little bit of right-hand side just to bring the cue ball roughly where he is now. What a gap to find that is.
Still needs another good positional shot. Needs to get the cue ball into the top half of the table and to get onto that 8-ball. Decent enough window though.
Yeah, I think I'd be playing this with a little bit of a little bit of right-hand side and bringing the cue ball up the same side of the table. There's a lot of traffic the way that he's going, and he's been punished for going that way. If you come the other way, the black goes into the top right-hand corner as we look at the table now.
So he can leave it actually a long way short and still have a shot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just try and get the cue ball near the left centre pocket and guaranteed a shot.
Oh, he's got it. Ooh. Well, I think a couple of times I'd question the route that he's gone, Shaun. But
yeah, the 8-ball just blocks the red to the top right, but Jack should be happy to be at the table and had the angle to play the short position straight away. So wide open chance then for Jack Whelan to get in front for the first time in this set.
it's very difficult to be critical of the two players that are in the final because you know, there's a reason they're in the final. I mean, this is my first ranking final with Ultimate Pool, but I never expected to be sat here with you, Simon, whereas you know, there's a reason that they're in the final. So
it's just been a very strange match in terms of number of frames played, the way the balls have come out. It's been awkward, there's been problems all over the table, and there's been some strange shots played, and you know, Shaun's played a couple in this set. Jack Whelan takes a lead in the second set. He leads in the match once again. First time since being 2-0 ahead. flush them once again. What's the layout going to be like?
Certainly better, I think.
Well,
not great, but
yeah, red and yellow together in the bottom left-hand corner pocket. Unless he wants to take on a 3-ball plant, I'm not sure he's got an option on yellows. And if he goes reds, that red at the bottom becomes a real problem ball, and the 8-ball would be a problem.
The one in the middle of the table pass to the top left, I think it does.
Well, in that case, he does have an opener on yellows. Yellows are definitely the easier colour set for me. And it does go. Yellow, even though it's close to the corner pocket, it's blocked by the red, so he was looking at the options for it there. Doesn't need to move the yellow, but does need to access that area, so maybe move the red. Now he tried to get into it there. He wanted to come beside that yellow off the second or third cushion as it was, and then into the red. That's gone horribly wrong.
He's got another big angle on this one to come back around the same path and do the same again. Just like this. Oh, oh.
That hasn't worked either.
Didn't look like he had as much right-hand side on that as he possibly could have played with. Just let the cue ball do the work, but the one advantage he's got, he's going to leave absolutely nothing.
You say that, he's left the red into the right centre.
He has, that's not a great shot from Jack. Real chance here for Shaun, I feel.
Extension call.
This is a bit more of an awkward angle than it first looked, but in it goes. And coming this side of the red, it's an opportunity to play the red off the yellow, which opens up the 8-ball. So that safety shot from Jack Whelan, which should have put Shaun in a world of trouble, has not done the job. Plays it off the yellow. Does it go far enough? Does the 8-ball go?
I think from the overhead it does. I'm not sure from the angle we're looking at here it does, but the overhead tells a different story as per usual, so I'm not sure. I'm on the fence.
I think it probably does, but it's tight. He would have loved. Oh no, it goes. We're okay. This has been a good visit to the table for Shaun. Jack should have put him in trouble and left him nothing. He gave him a sniff and he's running with it.
Right eye open, left eye shut.
Used it all, but in it goes. Amazing to see that. I've seen it a few times from him just in this match, but it is very rare that happens. Huge cut break from Shaun Storry. Really good chance at the table here for another break clearance. He's the only one to have one in the match. He's had one a couple of breaks ago.
Extension call.
Oh.
Tricky-ish opening ball on yellows.
It was, but it seemed like a bit of a club.
Yeah.
You know, there's no real finesse. If you look how quick he delivers the cue there, and obviously the thud it made against the jaw, it was a little bit of a club. Maybe a little bit of pressure kicking in. But, you know, by his standards, a poor shot.
Yeah, no doubt. You would have expected to make that one. I was just thinking about the three yellows together and that they're slightly awkward. It's going to be Jack Whelan just to deal with that. And I use the term slightly because it is only slightly. And from this yellow to the left centre, easy enough to deal with it, getting across to the other side. Lovely 3-ball plant to open everything up. I think in an ideal world he'd have preferred to finish lower on the previous yellow and be able to get up for short position on a yellow to top right, but 3-ball plant was controlled nicely. Going to be going to 15 seconds shot after the next shot. Final 10 minutes of the tournament. Jack Whelan punishes the miss from Shaun Storry, gets himself back in front by the odd frame. It's another awkward one. First glance you think, okay, yellows aren't too bad, and he jumps around to see whether he can see the yellow to the top left, and I think he can, but the yellow below the 8-ball means he does have work in the frame.
First shot, maybe play the yellow to the middle. Is it a natural angle to just come and disturb the awkward little cluster by the 8-ball? That's what he's looking at. Play this plain ball, not too firm. Just nick it out. Oh, he's missed the pot as well.
Jack Whelan's turn to miss first ball after the break. When Shaun Storry did it in the previous frame, Jack Whelan cleared up. Can Shaun do the same to tie the scores up once again?
Yellow balls in play.
He has the same problem to solve. That was the only good news for Jack Whelan when he missed that ball. At least he got both ends of the shot wrong.
Yeah, that's right. That's a lovely shot. Perfect little angle now just to get it out.
that's come out really nicely for him. Nicely onto the 8 ball then. This to tie the scores up once again. Never going to be a mistake with that 8 ball. Oh, 8 ball is flying. Not going to go in, but nor is anything else. It is a dry break from Shaun Storry. Jack Whelan comes to the table and possibly for the first time in the entire match, a really good chance for a first visit finish. Couple of half chances and lots of messy ones, but this is a great chance for one.
Yellow balls in play.
I thought he was going to go reds actually because of those 2 yellows that are below, by the left centre pocket.
So did I.
And he's decided to go yellows. I guess the top one of the 2 together must be an easy enough plant that then opens everything up. Yeah, must be. I think he's played on it. He's going to be hitting the underside of the yellow, so that yellow he plays is going to be coming down the cushion a fraction. He's just got to be careful not to put it right on the cushion or make it go dead. Yeah, plays it firmer for that reason and plays it really well.
He held his hand out there because I think he thought originally he was going to pop that yellow, and if that had dropped in, that would have made this finish a lot more difficult. The fact that it's landed right over the pocket has
allows him just to sort of connect the other balls up.
That's it.
Just going to run the clock down a few seconds here as well. Gets himself in front once again. 5 frames to 4. 4:28 left on the clock. It's big and he's made balls. What's the split like? It's fantastic.
Extension called.
Calls for the extra 15 to work out what he wants to do and how he wants to go about it.
There's an argument for both sets here, but
Red balls in play.
I thought he might go yellows again. It's kind of similar to last time, but last time he was proved right because he made that really comfortably. There's nothing really wrong here with reds either. They're all there. Shaun can't watch. Might have to drop the delicate one in the left centre here. does.
Under 2 seconds, that's not an easy shot. It's a lot more difficult than it looked.
Yeah, that was always going to be the trickiest ball on the table for Jack. Never as easy into those middles as it looks from those sort of angles.
He's played that nice again, because that's the kind of shot where you can under it, over it. You know, there's a little bit of traffic there, both sides of the table.
I think he'd have loved an extra few inches though, just so he could drop it in for 8-ball right centre. He might now swing it round and play left. Just avoids the yellow. Catch a little glance on that, it might spring it a little bit close to the corner, but worked out well. And this for 2 clear. And in it goes. The reverse clearance, break clearance combination puts Jack Whelan on the brink of the title.
Oh, 8-ball.
8-ball is close. It's not going to go, and he suddenly realises that and thinks he's made another ball. He has to fly here, and he knows it. He needs to be ultra quick.
He's going to be ultra quick.
That's perfect. Nice shot. Oh, in rushing to play it quickly, he jabs at it, doesn't reach a cushion, misses the pot, and that will be that. Shaun Storry knows it. Jack Whelan just has to pop 3 or 4 balls, and even then, he should be fine. He doesn't need to rush this through to get to 7.
What an opportunity that was for Shaun there as well, because they weren't difficult. It's just a rush of blood to the head there with that one, and he knows it.
Yeah, just a little jab. He'll be so disappointed. All that hard work to get through to this final. He'd been knocking on the door all year long since his last final. At the back end of last year, he'd made 4 semi-finals without being able to get through to the final. He's finally got through to a final, but he is going to come up short.
Well, after the first set, it'd be nice for Jack to finish these and actually finish the set off.
Yeah, and he might just get there. And he knows it. He knows he's won. You know, see what it means to him. And Jack, the Wonder Whelan, is the champion. Incredible match. Not the match we expected to see, but it was filled with drama. But Jack Whelan came up with the big finishes at the end to get himself in front.
Well, a very warm welcome back into the arena for the final time here on the Ultimate Pool Pro Cup. What a spectacular event this has been once again. If this is what the rest of the 2023 season is set to look like, we're in for a hell of a year. Let's hear it first of all for our 2 finalists, Shaun Storry and Jack Whelan. A brilliant final, this one. It wasn't the final we maybe expected, but my goodness me, it had a little bit of everything. He made his first final in just over a year, performed beautifully all the way through the tournament. Let's hear it for Autopilot, Shaun Storry, our runner-up. Sure, I just want to say thanks for the entertainment, because that match really did have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so I'm always entertaining when I'm about, I think. You know, I bet Jack couldn't believe it was going to be 2 each, or anyone watching could have believed it would be 2 each after 40 minutes, but we had that crazy frame and almost nicked it at the end. It was within a whisker of, couldn't have landed more awkward on the black, really, where it finished. And then made a couple of mistakes in the second frame, but it would have been nice to just clear up there, leave about a minute left, and just see if Jack was going to break dry and give me a chance to have another quick finish. But yeah, just further, I was a bit close in, and you know, I had to rush at the end of the day, so maybe I should have taken my time on that shot in hindsight and then rushed the next 4 shots. But I'm pleased with how I played all week, and it's nice to feel like my game's back and be in another final. Really, can't complain.
Well, it sets you up brilliantly for the new year, doesn't it? Big season coming up next year with Ultimate Pool. You could barely have had a better start, and you've been saying all week you feel like your game's there too.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I found a really decent break. Can't believe I broke Giant 4-all, but yeah, my game's there. I mean, obviously now tonight's about Jack. Really deserves his win, and it was a pleasure to play him. He sort of took his clearances out at the right moment, took his chances, and deserved winner. He's played great all week.
Great words as always, mate. Well played.
Cheers.
Shaun Storry, everyone. Well, for the second time, the Wonder is an Ultimate Pool champion. His first win meant a lot. I'm sure this one will as well. Let's hear it for your Pro Cup champion, Jack Whelan. Hey, well played. That was some serious graft tonight.
Yeah, like Shaun said, the first set going 2-all after 40 minutes, you'd have your life. That would never happen. And to be honest, I sort of like gave up on the frame a little bit, and I just thought it's going to be a draw, and then all of a sudden he's on the black, and I'm thinking, oh no, don't nick the set off me like that. But yeah, the second set, I felt like obviously going into the second set as a draw, I still felt really confident, and I knew I was playing well, so I just had to make sure I just took my chances, and obviously then he pops a golden break in first frame, and I'm just thinking, please don't do this to me. But every time I seemed to get level, and I was going one in front, but I just couldn't find that big break. Like, I was like breaking the balls and they'd go all right, but then one would go awkward, and then like I missed the yellow. I think it was 3-2 up into the middle bag, left him a chance, and then luckily for me, Shaun missed the yellow into the top bag. That was a big moment. I cleared them, and then I just said then in the corner at 5-4 up, just please just give me a ball. Like, and I crunched that break at 5-4, and really they were sort of perfect where I could just play every shot on 1 or 2 seconds to wind the clock right down. And like Shaun said, when he broke then, I was just thinking, please don't the black go in. And obviously he was tracking up here, but I sort of knew it was a little bit smelly for him. But luckily for me, obviously he feathered the white and gave me the frame to run the match out.
Well, it's been a hell of a night for you. Obviously, 4 hours worth of pool, 4 sets back to back to back to back. What does this victory mean to you? You came into this was your first event last year as an Ultimate Pool Pro. You made the semi-final, went and got a big win in the calendar year as well. You started this year off in the grand manner. You're obviously in tip-top form. It must mean a lot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it just goes to show that when you put a bit of hard work in, like, it pays off. I've been practicing, like, and obviously it's been a bit tough with obviously having a family and stuff, but look, everyone's in the same boat, so I can't really moan about it. It's my choice to play. But yeah, I feel in good shape, and I'm playing like as confident as I've ever played, and I just really enjoy it out here. You know, I like playing in front of the TV cameras, and I don't want to play in the corner. Is it somewhere no one watching? I like if you said you've got another match now, I wouldn't be bothered. Like I don't feel tired at all. But look, I'm really pleased with the win, and unlucky to Shaun. I can't get that one out. Unlucky to Shaun. I'm sure he'll be back because obviously he's running deep in a lot of events now, and he's obviously a force to be reckoned with.
Great words, mate. It's now time for your second Magic Ultimate Pool moment. Going to bring in the Chief Executive, Lee Kendall, to make the presentations. Your Ultimate Pool Pro Cup champion 2022 is Jack the Wonder Whelan.